My name is Ella, and my journey with my husband, Sam, has been a testament to love's power to conquer adversity. Our love story began against the wishes of my wealthy family, who disapproved of Sam due to his humble background. But our love was strong, and we married against their wishes, which led to my family disowning me. As newlyweds, Sam and I struggled, but our shared dreams and determination inspired us to start our own business. Despite the many challenges we faced, we persevered, and our startup began to gain traction and make a profit. However, we couldn't shake the feeling that someone was trying to sabotage our efforts. One day, Sam came to me, worry etched across his face. "Ella, we need to talk," he said, holding up a printout. "I received an anonymous tip that someone is trying to undermine our business. I've heard such rumors before, but this one has details that give me pause." I read the email and felt a rising anger. "Who would do this?" I asked, looking at Sam with disbelief. Sam hesitated, then said, "I have a suspicion that it's your family, Ella. They've never approved of us, and I can't help but think they're behind this." We needed evidence, so we began to monitor our business closely. Over the next few weeks, we found signs of sabotage, delayed contracts, sudden withdrawal of vendors, and malicious rumors that seemed to originate from my family's associates. We knew we had to confront them. I stood nervously with Sam at the doorstep of my family's grand mansion. My mother, Catherine, opened the door, her eyes narrowing as she saw us. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. Sam cleared his throat, his voice steady. "We're here to talk about our business, Catherine," he said, holding up the documents we had collected. "We know what's been going on." My father, John, appeared behind my mother, his eyes filled with regret. "Let them in, Catherine," he said quietly. We entered the opulent living room where my brother Alex, my sister Nina, and her husband Mike sat, looking surprised and uneasy. Sam laid out the evidence before them. "We've tracked the disruptions back to your associates," he said, looking at each of them in turn. "We know you've been trying to sabotage us." Alex jumped up, his voice defensive. "This is nonsense, Ella. We would never do something like that." My sister Nina looked at me with a pleading expression. "Ella, you have to believe us. We wouldn't hurt you like that." Mike chimed in, his voice insistent. "You've got it all wrong, Ella. We're not behind this." I looked at my family, my voice icy. "You can deny it all you want, but we have proof. Your associates have been meddling in our affairs, and it all points back to you." John looked down, his voice heavy with sadness. "It's true, Ella. We did it," he admitted, his eyes meeting mine. "I'm so sorry." The room fell silent, and I felt a mix of anger and betrayal. "I trusted you," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I loved you, and this is how you repay me." Catherine finally spoke up, her voice soft with regret. "Ella, we made a mistake. We were wrong to interfere. Can you ever forgive us?" I looked at Sam, who nodded. I turned to my family, my voice resolute. "I will not take any legal action, but let me be clear. If this ever happens again, I will not hesitate to sue you and expose you for what you've done," I warned, my eyes sweeping across the room, meeting each of their gazes. My family nodded in agreement, their faces filled with remorse. Sam and I left, our victory tainted by the betrayal of those we had once loved. As we walked out of my childhood home, hand in hand, we vowed to focus on our future and leave the past behind. Life has a way of teaching us that, indeed, what goes around comes around. My husband, Sam, and I were living testament to that truth. After the confrontation with my family, we redirected our energies, focusing on building our company. And soon, our startup began its meteoric rise, becoming one of the most influential corporations in the industry. With each passing day, Sam and I saw our dreams turn into reality. Our bond strengthened, and we cherished the life we had built together. One evening, as Sam and I were having dinner at our favorite restaurant, the Golden Platter, we were interrupted by a familiar face, my childhood friend, Lily. She was hesitant, but the urgency in her eyes was palpable. "Ella," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "have you heard about your family's business?" I exchanged a glance with Sam. "No, why?" Lily hesitated for a moment before finally speaking. "There have been some financial mismanagement issues. Their stocks have plummeted, and it seems they're heading for bankruptcy." The news struck me like a lightning bolt. Despite our strained relationship, the idea of my family facing ruin was hard to digest. The night continued, but my thoughts were consumed by Lily's revelation. A few days later, as I was working late in my office, Sam knocked gently on the door. You might want to see this, he said, handing me a letter with the familiar handwriting of my father, John. I opened it, and as I read, my heart sank. It was a plea for help. My family's business had indeed collapsed. They were neck-deep in debt, facing legal actions, and their reputation was in tatters. The letter concluded with a desperate request for financial assistance. "What are we going to do, Sam?" I whispered, my voice filled with emotion. He sighed, "Ella, this is your family. As much as they have wronged us, we need to think this through." The next evening, our home's bell rang. I opened the door to find Alex, Nina, and Mike, their eyes downcast and their shoulders slumped in defeat. "Ella," Alex began, his voice shaking, We didn't know where else to turn." Nina looked up, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry, Ella. We were wrong, and now everything's falling apart." Mike added, his voice filled with desperation. "We've lost everything, Ella. Our homes, our cars. Even our children's futures are uncertain." Sam, ever the diplomat, offered them seats. We sat down in the living room, the tension palpable. "What do you want from us?" Sam asked, his voice steady but firm. Alex took a deep breath. "We need a loan, Ella. Something to help us start over." I took a moment, then spoke. "After everything that's happened, after all the pain you caused us, why should we help?" Nina sobbed, "Because we're family, Ella, and we're truly, deeply sorry." Mike nodded. "We understand if you can't forgive us, but we're begging for a chance to set things right." The room was thick with emotion. I looked at Sam, seeking guidance. He nodded slightly, giving me the go-ahead to decide. After a few moments of contemplation, I finally spoke. "You'll get your loan, but under strict terms. You'll pay back every penny with interest, and any form of deceit will result in immediate legal action." Alex, Nina, and Mike nodded in understanding, gratitude evident in their eyes. The meeting ended, and as they left, I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders. It wasn't just about the money or the loan, it was about letting go of past resentments and looking towards the future. As Sam and I settled into bed that night, he whispered, "You did the right thing, Ella." I smiled, pulling him close. "With you by my side, Sam, every decision feels right." Sam and I approached my family's new, small rented house in a modest neighborhood, check in hand, ready to extend the help they had requested. But as we neared the front door, I could hear raised voices from inside. My heart sank as I listened to the conversation. "Of course she's helping us," I heard Nina say, her voice dripping with disdain. "She married a poor man, and now she wants to show off her newfound riches." My sister's husband, Mike, added with a sneer, "No matter how much money he makes, he'll always be a lowlife in my eyes." I felt my blood boiling, my hand clenching the check. Sam, sensing my anger, gently touched my arm. I looked at him, my eyes filled with tears. He simply nodded, his face a mask of calm, giving me the strength I needed. I knocked loudly on the door, wiping the tears from my cheeks. Alex opened the door, his eyes widening as he saw the expression on my face. "Ella, Sam," he stammered. "Come in." The room fell silent as we entered. Nina and Mike looked like deer caught in headlights, clearly realizing I had overheard their conversation. My parents sat quietly, their faces etched with regret. Nina tried to smile, her voice quivering. "Ella, we were just talking about you." I nodded, my voice icy. "Yes, I heard." I looked at each of them, my gaze finally resting on my sister. "You had it changed, Nina," I said, my voice filled with disappointment. "All the money in the world can't buy decency." I took the check from my pocket, slowly tearing it into pieces while holding my sister's gaze. "Consider this a lesson," I said, letting the pieces fall to the floor. "You had a chance to rebuild, but you've squandered it with your arrogance." Sam and I turned and left the house, leaving my family in stunned silence. As we walked away, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of anger and sadness. I had hoped they had changed, but it seemed that some people never do. The following years were a whirlwind of continued success for Sam and me. Our company thrived, and we found ourselves on the covers of magazines, hailed as industry leaders. We donated to charity, supported local communities, and worked tirelessly to create a better world. We knew that despite our success, the most important thing was the love we had for each other and the values we upheld. The world around us changed, but our bond remained steadfast, growing stronger with each passing day. Years later, as Sam and I stood hand in hand, looking out at the sunset from our penthouse balcony, I turned to him, my voice full of gratitude. "You've been my rock, Sam," I said, looking into his eyes. You've been by my side through thick and thin, and I can't imagine my life without you." Sam smiled, his eyes filled with love. "We built this life together, Ella. We faced adversity and triumphed, always holding on to our values. We have so much to be proud of." I nodded, leaning into his embrace. We had faced challenges, we had made sacrifices, but in the end, we had emerged victorious. We had created a life that was a testament to the strength of our love, a life that proved that true love could conquer even the fiercest of storms. And as the sun set on another day, I knew that we had built a legacy that would stand the test of time.